So I just got done writing. It's probably 2 in the morning. I've been doing this pretty late or early, depending on how you look at it. So, I mean, this board's not bad, honestly, especially aesthetically. See it here. Looks pretty cool. Maybe turn off the lights and you can see it even better. This board does look pretty freaking cool, especially with that light now. That headlight's pretty gnarly. It's only like what, $15 or something. Depends on what kind you get or whatnot. I'll look up some links and put them in the description. But yeah, I mean, this thing works well. It's my first board, and I mean, most of the time there's 4 modes, and what you got to do is you got to go from mode 1, which is like for beginners. It's kind of worthless. Mode 2 is eco. That one's okay, but it's pretty slow. I'm sure that one does save battery because it's eco, but it's extremely slow. Level 3 is usually the one I use. I don't know what it's called, but it's pretty good. And it accelerates alright. Battery doesn't last very long. The only way it lasts long is if you fully charge it all the way to 4.2 volts, which is not really recommended if you want your battery to last long. If you put it at 4.0, it's better. It'll make your battery life, you know, it'll go years, versus filling it all the way up to 4.2. So if you do that, sure, you'll have fun, but you're going to need a battery a lot faster. If you put it on, I think it's called Pro, which is all the way level 4, that one's awesome. Acceleration's really fast. It helps up hills. It's still fast up hills. Braking is a little harsh, but I mean, it's faster to slow down. I don't know. I would think that you'd still want the same amount of braking. The only thing with the braking is that it's not very responsive. I mean, you press it, you hold it, it doesn't do anything. You go more and also it just like jolts and almost throws you off the board. And then you go farther and it basically slows you down a lot more. It would be better for regenerative braking if it didn't just try to throw you off the board. I mean, if it had a really light regen, kind of like in a hybrid car, you'd be able to go farther while it charged versus basically trying to slam brakes all the time. So I don't really see the regen really working too well unless you're on an extremely steep hill and you're trying to just not go fast at all. That's pretty much the only time it'll actually come in handy. I've had to do that a few times. Doesn't really charge too much, but I mean, it does bring it up a bit. But so does leaving it off. So it's kind of hard to tell if it's a regen or if it's just the fact that you're not really hitting the gas on it, or the power, or whatever you call it. As far as the feel of it, with the smaller spacers, 5mm versus 10, it's a better ride. It's less sketchy, I guess you'd say, because when you have it on 10, you kind of feel like you're going to fall off, and you feel like you're really high up for some reason, even though it's only a few millimeters. I 3D printed mine, and it came out better than the hard plastic that they use. I used a few that I found on Thingiverse. I'll put links in the descriptions for those. I was currently am printing one that's 20 minutes faster to do if you're going to do front and back. So it's going to be 2 spacers. Versus the other one that's like an hour and 20 minutes. Mine's like about an hour. And it's not as solid, I guess you'd say, as the other one, but it'll get the job done. I mean, it's like the stock one, the one that I made. It's 5mm, and it has the adapter for the headlight. And then I took it off and modified the mesh on it, and I made it so that you can have another one for the other spacer, for the rear, without that thing on it. I mean, I guess if you could find another one that uses the same kind of GoPro attachment thing for a brake, brake light, then you could put the same one on it twice, just print it twice, and just throw them both on there. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of just minor issues with the board, as far as, and besides the thing I just mentioned. The lights don't really turn on. I know I've already said this many times, but yeah, the lights don't really turn on until your battery is basically 60% or lower. Which is kind of, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but I mean, you're not going to be going very fast when your lights are on. I would rather it always work rather than just when your battery is basically dead, because at 50%, this board's pretty much dead. You can't really do much. It feels like it's on beginner mode the entire time, which limits you to maybe like 5 miles an hour, maybe 8 miles an hour. Eco probably does for sure get 8 miles an hour. Pro and the third, whatever the third one is, those go up to past 15 miles an hour. But after 15 miles an hour, it gets kind of scary. Especially when it was on 10 millimeters. Now it's on 5. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't charged the battery enough to be able to hit those speeds yet, because I was trying to figure out when the shutoff was for the LEDs. What else? On the headlights, if you in here, I don't know if you can see that, but in here there's nothing there, and if you put a lock washer, it'll help it so that it stays put, and if you hit a bump or something, it won't move around or face the floor or something. You can use normal lock washers or split washers, but I prefer the ones that are what do they call them, internal tooth flat washers, or what, I'm not sure. I'll put the link in the description as well for the name, at least. You can get those at Home Depot. But yeah, I'll put the name if I can't find the link, or those are good to put on pretty much anything. As far as the trucks and everything else, obviously you want nylon nuts on things, or they call them nylocks. And what else? The wheels, they're okay. I would probably put bigger ones, but I mean, they're hub, so you can't really customize them very much. If it was belt driven, or that's pretty much it. Belt driven are the ones you can customize the most. Hub or direct drive, is what they're called. Almost kind of a newer one. Those, I think they're probably stuck with the same kind of thing where you can only pull off the rubber, and then whatever you get is what you get. You gotta basically pick the wheel size based on the actual motor itself. Oh yeah, there's also a squeak. From day one, I fixed it, but there was a squeak on the rear hubs. If anybody wants me to make a video on it, I will. But pretty much any hub motor is gonna have a bunch of squeaking as it rotates. The pressure from your weight on it rotating is gonna make the rubber slide up against the metal on the inside, and it'll make like a squeak noise every time it hits a certain spot. There's a lot of people using lithium and a bunch of stuff like that. I would highly not recommend that, because lithium is basically petroleum based, and petroleum and rubber don't mix. What I used when I use this as a mechanic, I use this as an electrician, I use this as pretty much everything, because it has a bunch of different names, but it's all the same shit. Silicone paste. If you use silicone paste or silicone grease or dielectric grease, they're all the same thing. You could get it the cheapest if you look for the name silicone paste. It comes in a big jar. It's still pretty pricey, but you get a lot of it, versus paying a small amount for nothing, basically, for a little tiny packet. For the equivalent that you'd spend on all these packets, that jar is a way better value. And it lasts you for a long time. You could use it for everything. I mean, you can use it for fuel injector O-rings, or any kind of O-rings. You could use it for making things, semi-waterproof, because it's a waterproof grease. You could use it for pretty much anything, So yeah, it's good to get. If I remember, I'll put that in the description too. A couple of other things about the board that were kind of inconsistent is the app. And the instructions are kind of worthless for most things for like for turning on the LEDs. There's nothing about them. You have to hold the reverse button for a few seconds, and if your battery's within the sweet spot of dead to almost dead, it'll turn on the lights. As far as the app, I haven't got it to work at all. I've used like 5 different apps that are all recommended. None of them worked. I checked Bluetooth. Some people said it's not Bluetooth and it just magically works somehow. I don't. I'm a tech guy, and so I don't know how the heck this thing's supposed to turn on. If it's Wi-Fi, it doesn't detect it. If it's Bluetooth, it doesn't detect it. So I don't know what kind of other wireless signal it would use that the phone would actually detect, because it doesn't work. I've opened the apps and clicked on everything you can imagine in there, and nothing shows up. So I don't know if mine's just defective or what, but I mean, the remote turns it on. It's just, I can't choose any of the colors. The other thing is that the battery life on this thing is horrible. They say you can go, 11 to 12 miles? No, maybe if you have it on Eco or Beginner, maybe. But you won't be able to go up any hills. But for normal users, I mean, I've already started skateboarding with these electric skateboards, like a few weeks ago. And I don't go very fast, but it dies pretty quick. I would say I go around the block a few times. Maybe it does 2 to 5 miles, maybe, if you're cruising at a pretty decent speed or going fast. But in pro mode, yeah, you're definitely going to be on the lower side of that. I would upgrade the battery. I plan to. I already started building some stuff for that. I figured out how to do that, and I 3D printed some stuff to make it easier. I'll make some videos on that later. But this thing's a 36 volt, so you put 10 batteries in series. It's a 10S 1P battery that comes with it. So it's basically just 10 batteries. That's it. And doesn't work that great. Tom Top, which is where I bought it from, they finally reached out to me. And they said that they would reimburse me if I needed to get it fixed or whatever. So I'm going to maybe get another battery, because this one, maybe it's just the battery's messed up since it shipped with a battery that was completely down to basically 3 volts or less. So it might have got damaged, the capacity might be diminished. So I'm going to go ahead and if it's free, I mean, I might as well go to a shop and just get a new battery on it. And maybe I'll throw in some of my batteries or figure something out, and I'll increase the capacity somehow. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up doing a 10S 2P, which will be 20 batteries, and then I should be able to have some fun with it. I'll have decent runs, better speed. It'll stay in a good speed for a longer time. But that probably means that the LEDs are not going to work most of the time. So we'll see. Yeah. So this is probably the longest video I've ever made. But yeah. If you have any comments, suggestions, or whatever, leave them in the comments below. I don't know where the subscribe button is. It's probably down there somewhere too. Because I don't know how to do all that buttons, all those buttons and pop-ups and all that yet. But yeah, subscribe. I'm also going to leave a link for, it's just an app for anybody that has Android. It may work on iPhone, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly Android. I'm not sponsored in any way by these people or anything, but I've gotten a lot of free gift cards from these guys, and you literally don't have to do anything. You can do surveys, but you don't have to. You still get a bunch of points, and these points add up pretty quick for gift cards. And I mean, they got like probably 20 or 30 different vendors, and then if you don't like them, they also have Visa gift cards, so you can use them basically same as cash anywhere. So yeah, I'll put that in there. Just use my referral link. And yeah, I mean, I've gotten a ton. I put it on all my phones, and I give it to all my friends, and I've made quite a few hundreds of dollars in gift cards for just having this thing running in the background. It doesn't use that much battery. Some people think it's a scam because of the weird name. But don't worry, it's not. I've been using it. I got it. I've had this thing for like 5 years, and I've had it on all my phones, and I got lots of gift cards. All right. Actually, I used one of those gift cards to get this headlight. So, ideas. All right. Well, thanks for watching. And again, subscribe, like, leave comments below, and later. All right. Ready?